again. So here we go. 60 Seconds to Success is where I have just 1 minute on the clock to share a tip or a trick that's going to make your hotel marketing much more effective. Now, if you're just joining us from LinkedIn, this is the TravelBoom Hotel Marketing Podcast, and we're talking about Instagram today on episode 235. After the 60 seconds, if you want to join us over on the podcast, just find us on your favorite podcatcher app or visit travelboommarketing.com/podcast and download the latest episode today. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in and see if I can give you a tip or trick in just 1 minute. And let's start the timer. Think about the role AI and GPT systems can play in your hotel marketing. Well, everybody at this point, unless you've been living under a rock, knows about ChatGPT. But most are really uneducated in how AI is going to completely upend the hotel marketing and operations world. So I have 3 things to do. Step 1, log into chat.openai.com and give the famous chatbot a try. Ask it a few questions and see what comes back and start getting acquainted with what it can do. Step 2, read up on AutoGPT. It is an amazing technology that lets you tie in multiple strings of requests into complex tasks, and it is crazy. Number 3, have a cold beer and contemplate what areas can be improved with AI and which ones need to be in the realm of humans again. I think I made it. I think I did. Ladies and gentlemen, the clock is still ticking. Doo-doo-doo. All right, so somehow I got that done in less than 50 seconds, which is impressive. But let's talk about this a little bit more. So like we kind of talked about in the under the clock portion, everyone pretty knows about what ChatGPT is. When it hit the world in November of last year, it was all the rage. And it's the fastest growing app that has ever been revealed on the web. Everybody is using it, from writers to producing content to developers to build website and different pieces of code. And hoteliers need to figure out how to best use it for their business as well. But understand that you can't necessarily go all in on AI and ignore the value that a human can bring to guest relationships and the intuitive nature of a lot of what we do. So at this point, I don't know that there's a real defined thing that is going to be the end all be all for AI and GPT type systems in hotels. But I will say, look into the AutoGPT that we talked about. There's one really, known case study of a developer who was looking for a USB stick for his computer. And he wrote a request to AutoGPT to say, search the web, find the best several sites that have this product and the one with the very best price. He hit go and it did all the research. It compiled the results and told him the best place to buy this very specific USB stick was on this given website. That sounds very basic. That sounds like something you could do on Amazon or Google or anything like that. But the fact that it was done without any human interaction other than making the request is pretty revolutionary. Think about that if you were looking for information on, let's say, competitor pricing, or you're trying to build out your revenue management strategy and you're concerned about competitor occupancy or whatever that might be. This is one of those ways where you could have a very powerful AI running in the background, giving you clues and insights into how you need to price your property. Now, down the road, it could do a whole bunch more than that, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. So I would say learn about it, get to the point where you kind of understand it, and then start having some ideas of how you could possibly implement it into your property. And over time, those will all solidify into a real strategy. But for now, let's just go ahead and learn a little bit about it. So there you go. That is our 60 seconds to success. Hopefully it was helpful for you. And if it was, and you want to hear more about ChatGPT, Instagram, and everything else, check us out on the Hotel Marketing Podcast, travelboommarketing.com/podcast. And for today's episode, just click on episode 235. With that being said, we're going to sign out from LinkedIn and go back to our regularly scheduled podcast.